Godzilla's Revenge. Should I even make a video about it? I guess, here we go.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. I'm Jared Fearing.
I'm a lifelong Godzilla fan and a big fan of Halloween.
And nothing says Halloween like monster movies.
So this year, for the month of October,
we're going to review every single Godzilla movie, from Gojira all the way to Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire.
So join me this month for a new video every single day and see if I go insane in the process. Let's get to it. Godzilla's Revenge is a great title for a movie that features precisely zero Godzilla revenge. I really debated if we should even cover this movie. The Japanese movie, All Monsters Attack, is also a very cool title, and it's a little bit more appropriate. There's multiple monsters and they're all attacking, so I can kind of get behind that. But, you know, this film doesn't really deserve either of those great titles just for what it is. It is the 10th movie in the series technically, but what you don't get outrightly told to you is that it is basically a supercut of previously used Godzilla footage. Specifically from the last two movies, Son of Godzilla and Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. I would say it's probably 95% reused footage. They do introduce a new monster named Gabra, who has a pretty fun design, and they do have a new fight scene filmed between Godzilla and Gabra, and there's quite a bit of Minilla, who's called Minya in this movie, even though it was a character that was just established one film before this one. 2 films before this one. The Gabra scenes are pretty interesting, and I mean, they're fine. I think this movie is terrible, but if you look at it through the right lens, it's not so bad. And what I mean by that is that this movie is clearly made for kids. It's not necessarily made to be like a drive-in adult Saturday night movie. It's made for kids. It's an after-school special, essentially. And so a lot of things have been really dumbed down. And you also have to remember that when this movie came out, it was not so easy to see movies on repeat. There was no like home video system. So to reuse footage, you could kind of get away with it because it's not like people were going and watching Son of Godzilla 10 times and then seeing this movie and being like, oh hey, wasn't that scene in Son of Godzilla? No, you probably saw Son of Godzilla at the theater and then you didn't see this one until a couple years later. And so you can kind of sneakily reuse footage and it wouldn't have been nearly as apparent. This is the first Godzilla film in the series to actually use the term Monster Island. In Destroy All Monsters, which we saw previously, they used the term Monsterland, and that just doesn't have the same ring to it. Monster Island sounds great. Here, it's established that a young boy is having these kind of dream imagination sequences where he's hanging out with Minilla, also Minya in this movie, Godzilla's son, and Minilla can talk. And it's interesting for sure. It's definitely got that like Saturday morning cartoon vibe. But the kid's story is just atrocious. He's kind of learning to overcome bullying, but he does it in, you know, not a very meaningful way. Basically, he watches Godzilla beat the shit out of Gabra, and he's like, you know what, I should fight back. Godzilla can do it, so can I. Perfect lesson. Especially when the kid is actually kidnapped at knife point by 2 adult robbers. Maybe I'm insane, but in that situation, you know, fighting back is probably not the right decision. You should probably comply with what the adults with weapons are suggesting. Maybe I'm wrong, but also I'm not a, you know, 6-year-old Japanese kid that's been kidnapped, so what do I know? The English dub of this movie is truly terrible. It is one of the worst dubs in the series, easily, with the exception of Minilla, who it sounds like they got one of the voice actors from like Scooby-Doo or something of that nature. They give it a real nice like Saturday morning cartoon voicing, and I really enjoyed that. But the main kid is terrible. The adults are all phoning it in. There's one little girl that has a voiceover dub that is among the worst I've ever heard in anything. So it's pretty terrible. But you know what? I threw this on because I'm doing this series and I want to be fresh with everything that I've seen. And yeah, like I said, when you view this kind of through the lens that it was made for kids, you got to give it a little bit more grace. It does kind of fulfill a few things that might be cool to kids, which are that you get to see these Godzilla scenes without the more serious story surrounding it. Godzilla versus the sea monster, there's death in it, there's a terrorist organization, people get killed by Ebirah. In this, you can kind of see the Godzilla scenes without that more PG material. So when you look at this as a movie for kids, it's not nearly as bad. I'm still not going to recommend it, and I'm not going to talk about it for very long because it is just retreading old movies with old footage. If you want to see the Gamera scenes, sure, throw it on in the background, do some drawing, you know, do some painting, whatever. Do something in the background so that it's not getting your full attention, and the experience won't be so bad. But if you sit down and watch this with wide eyes and you're actually critiquing what's going on, be prepared for a stinker. So, not recommended. Come back next time for one of the most controversial movies in the entire Godzilla series, Godzilla vs. Hedorah, or Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. If you've never seen it, it's unlike any other Godzilla movie to date. Very weird, very strong messages. I can't wait to break this one down for you guys. So come back next time for Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster, the 11th film in the Godzilla Showa era. Hey guys, I hope you're really enjoying this series. I'm trying to do my best to bring these cool factoids to life for you and really emphasize my love of the Godzilla franchise. If you're enjoying this, please like, share, comment. All those things help out, and I really appreciate it. And let me know in the comments if you disagree with me about All Monsters Attack / Godzilla's Revenge. I doubt there's going to be many people going to bat for this one, but if you disagree, I'd love to hear why. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.